All right, everybody, we're coming back from the break. It's called the Business of Business Network Show. My name is Rex Perry. I'm the host and creator of the show. And if you just turned on your radio, we talk business, politics, and economics. And we talk a lot about real estate because it's the heart and soul of Maricopa County. Our first guest is Dave. Give us your last name and introduce yourself, please.
Hey, Dave Zajdzinski, but everybody knows me as Dave Z.
Sounds great. And Roland?
Roland Bennett, and they know me as Roland Bennett.
And Greg?
Greg.douthit, and they know me as Greg.douthit.
All right, we got a good team here. Introduce your company a little bit. Tell us a little bit of what you do, Dave.
Yeah, so I think everybody knows me for selling real estate. I've sold 2,000 homes, the Dave Z home team. That will always happen. I've been doing that 21 years, but my passion now, helping all business owners scale profitably with international labor, virtual assistants, like how to hire in Asia to scale faster and more profitable. That's Leverage Agent.
Walk us through that a little bit. Let's say that you don't mind working with other real estate agents.
Love working with other agents. That's my passion, but I work with all businesses, but they're closer to my heart, helping them.
Okay, and walk us through that. So let's say sometimes they're just pulling their hair. They're so busy.
Yep, they're so busy. So the whole idea of scaling, and I've grown now 3 companies, it's just buying back your time, right? That's the idea, is like, how do I buy back my time? And it's so difficult in real estate because the general rule of thumb when you're going to buy back your time is you can't spend more than 20% of your income to buy back your time. Real estate and realtors have been taught to buy back their time at 95% of their income, right? Yeah. Here, take this buyer. You're a buyer's agent. I'll give you half the commission. I'll cover 42% of the expenses. Yeah. So when the check settles, it's like, well, I made 8%. So the industry was just broken in a way to scale. And I'd work with a realtor. It's like, cool, you made 80 grand last year. You got 16 grand to work with. Who are you going to hire? Can't do it in America. Yeah. So when I did that 5 years ago to my own business, I shaved off $600,000 of overhead, put it in the Philippines, made essentially the same money in revenue. So that changed my life financially. I said, okay, this is how we scale. We go overseas and we find remarkable college-educated talent for $4 an hour. Now I can help a realtor get all their time back.
And walk us through the process. The phone rings. Where does the call go?
So here's what I teach. This is my core belief. Until you get so busy, like right now, I have full-time appointment setters, full-time dialers, full-time people answering that. But when I start with somebody, it's like, why don't you stay on the phone because you're great at that. But with our AI and our virtual assistants, as soon as you hang up the phone, we're going to have the workflow begin. Everything is going to come out. The email is going to go.
So they take the first call.
The realtor should take the first call. It's all recorded. Most CRMs record it. And then when you run that through the software that I give people, actually spits out the next steps, right? If we talked about getting pre-qualified, if we talked about seeing properties today, right? I'm going to say, I'm actually going to kind of speak to it almost in instructions like, okay, Greg, great speaking with you. Our next step is you're going to talk to Roland about getting pre-qualified. That email will go out within 5 minutes of me hanging up that call.
And it's all just verbal conversation, and
it's all
starts.
Getting recorded, and then the workflow comes out. Now you have a $4 an hour employee saying, hey, Roland, meet Greg, and the whole story is in the email, everything that we talked about, and then they can set up the property search, and they can just coordinate and monitor everything, and then you stay serving your clients.
Fantastic.
Right?
And Roland, you get a contact. What's the first steps you do when you've got a buyer call like that coming in as a lead?
Well, the first thing I do when I talk to a buyer is ask them where their education level is with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and FHA and VA and mortgage loans and debt to income ratio and LTV and all those things. And I'll say all the mortgage lingo, like where are you at 0 to 10, and a lot of times they'll say, well, I maybe a 1 or a 2, and if I get a 1 to 3, then I know that the first 30 minutes of my call is educating them from the top down, from a bird's eye view of what the mortgage business is, your different choices that you have, banker versus broker versus big box bank, how it all works, how Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac play a part of it, how the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac automated underwriting software really determines whether or not your loan's going to close, and then they can really understand, like, oh, well, I never knew that, and then now they understand when somebody's told your debt to income ratio is over 50%, they know how it's calculated. So I just get into education mode right off the bat so that they can be appraised of what is really going on, and then it's not a mystery. So I like to take the wizard out from behind the curtain so to speak, on the mortgage business. And then we dive into the numbers and credit and that kind of stuff.
And try to find something that's going to fit them.
For sure.
Yep.
And ultimately it comes down to the rate, right?
Yeah.
Let's get the lowest rate at the lowest fee.
Yeah, excellent. Now, sometimes in a transaction, they would like to get a preliminary title report just to make sure everything's looking good. Can you educate us a little bit about what that is?
Well, it's just when you pull records, basically, a lot of people don't know what title insurance actually is, but we're just ensuring that no one can ever come and make a claim on your property once it becomes yours. Once
So
it's
you can
transferred
sell it later.
So you can sell later with that. It's called clouds on the title when
Yeah.
something's wrong. But basically what we do in title is we just make sure that the lender, the real estate agent, both on the buying and the selling side, the buyer, the seller, we're the neutral third party that makes sure that everybody does their job.
Mm-hmm.
And so we hold the money in escrow. We make sure that everybody does what the contract says they're going to do, kind of hold them accountable. So we're the third party that holds these guys accountable. Real quick, I wanted to say, I love what you said about the education piece. We've been training agents and lenders to ask that question first. Like,
What do you know?
what do you know about the current condition of today's market? And some of the things that you'll get back are just, oh my gosh, really? What are you listening to? Oh, the news. Okay, no. No. So I just love that education piece.
Yeah.
And if more agents, which is why these guys are so great because they both do that, if more agents and lenders would educate first and then go into
Yeah, exactly.
everything, it would help.
So, Dave, what are you seeing out there right now as far as the calls that you're getting? Where's the direction that you're heading?
Are you asking me
For the real
or
estate agent?
Yeah. For real estate, it's incredibly unaffordable. Let's be honest. Like, how hard is it to own a home in relation to your income? But we're still selling houses. You know, we're always going to sell houses. And I would say what I'm seeing after 20 years of doing this is more concentration of like what I call the 4 Ds: divorce, death, diapers, destination.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what's
like that.
happening. I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you doing this? Now I'm a big believer in real estate. I own a good portfolio of real estate. I still believe in it. But myself, like 2.5 years ago, I made a terrible financial decision. Bought a 7-bedroom, 5,000 square foot house at 6.25. House I was departing had a 3.25 interest rate. I didn't do that because it was an unbelievable financial decision. I have 5 children, and I wanted to be the house where all the I now have 3 teenagers. Well, and I have 4 daughters. We're gonna keep it here. We're gonna party here, guys.
You're not leaving
So
the house.
I got 6 boys. You got a
Yeah.
big family,
I got
too.
5 kids too. So,
So I want to be the house where it's like, come here. And that was so much more about my family than the finances. And it's still a good decision. It was just really hard to see the interest I was paying on that, the principal reduction,
Yeah.
how slow it was. But those are the big calls that we're getting. My team will do maybe 1,400 units this year and we work with Zillow. So Zillow is if you're going on Zillow and saying, Bing, I want to see a home today, it might be one of my agents. And there's usually a story behind those people more so than in 2020, 2021. You're like, well, they're giving away free money. Let's just go move. Like, it's 3%. Why not? This is more to the heart of why people want to move. So what we're seeing in the market, it's softer demand, higher inventory. I think we're probably 6 months out of the bottom of the market.
So it's
I think we bottomed 6 months ago. If you were a buyer, it's still a great opportunity. But as we look back and we go through these home sales and what people were doing, we're kind of seeing 6 months ago it was like a jackpot for
Interesting.
buyers. But it's still great. So that's how I would tell you the market. The pendulum's swinging.
Yeah, what's interesting when it comes to this, there are homes that are being designed so that you have a mother-in-law suite. They have subdivisions where, they're beautiful, big homes, but then you got, and sometimes you can get a not a blended family, but a family coming together to help qualify it.
Well, and also not only that, but Fannie Mae is revamping their automated underwriting to allow AUDs. And the appraisal
That's a plus.
is now starting to accept that. So that's become really popular. It ain't mother-in-law in there.
Yeah.
They're renting it out. It's cash flow.
But they allow you to do it.
Yeah, and what Dave Z was saying there is, I totally agree with him with the market on that. And I think there are still some sellers out there that are worried and scared about the market crashing because they're watching maybe a particular a television cable network. And so, but the truth of the matter is rates are going down.
Yeah.
And that's the relationship between interest rates and home prices is that when rates go down, prices go up because it's more affordable, more people get in the market. There's so many people that have been on the sidelines going, well, I'm just going to wait for the rates to come down before I buy. Right. And then the
Bad
rates
idea.
come down, and then, their particular news channel tells them that the rates are low, and then everybody rushes out to buy, and then you have all those sellers out there with the high inventory, and then they're like, oh my gosh, we got 5 offers in a week, and then prices start to go up from there. But I always tell people, because they're worried about the prices and, is real estate going to crash? It's so expensive. I said, well, I know it's so expensive, but if you look at today, we're 2025, and even though 2005 was the kind of the house of cards peak, prices are still higher in 2025 than they were in 2005. Then look at 1985, 20 years prior to that. And then look at 65, then 45. Guess what 2045 is going to look like? It's going to be higher than now. It's a straight up line, and it's never going to be anything different. Now, along that line are going to be dips and spikes.
Which we get.
And that's the same thing with rates, same thing with houses. So if you can time out a dip in rates and also at the same time a dip in prices, which is where we're at right now, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
This is a window to buy.
Real quickly, we're starting to wrap up. Greg, you also help with marketing with agents. Tell us some of the tools that you guys have and help the agent.
Well, yeah. So for us, we like to be a true partner with our agents and lenders. Right now, we have. I'm personally coaching with Tom. Our whole company is coaching with Tom Ferry, and so getting back to the life event, what we're seeing when deals come in is most of them are life events, like you said, divorce, death. Upgrading, downgrading. Right now, there's something called the silver tsunami. We have the largest amount of baby boomers right now that in the next 10 years are going to pass. And it's going to be literally the biggest transfer of wealth that the United States has ever seen. So we help agents and lenders say, well, let's get ahead of that. So
Let's get contact info, especially if they want the international help. How did they get a hold of you, Dave?
Yeah, my website, you go to leverageagent.org. Or you can hit me up on the social media. My cell phone, I'll give out my cell phone. That's the best way to reach me. 480-332-6468. That's 480-332-6468. Anybody that calls me, I will give you 30 days for free. Try it. Like, let us do all of this great work for 30 days.
Wow.
See if this will work for you.
This is fantastic. We do the
Great offer.
and
right?
This works for lenders too.
I helped a school teacher get a virtual assistant,
Wow.
checking her emails, doing her grocery shopping.
Wow.
Everybody should have one.
Roland, how can people reach you?
My cell number is 602-513-3686, 602-513-3686. But you can just go to birdseymortgage.com, and it'll take you right to my homepage, and all my stuff's on there.
Fantastic. Greg?
480-703-9525. 480-703-9525.
Gentlemen, this has been fantastic. Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Thanks, Rex.
Everybody, stay tuned. Got to do a break. We'll be right back.